Celtics with 67 points with 6:45 remaining. Tatum drives down and throws it down! Wow!
As my subscribers know, I'm a huge New England sports fan. I live and die by the Red Sox, Bruins, Patriots, and Celtics. Right now, 3 of those teams are doing pretty good, and the Patriots are trying. But let's go back a little bit of time to 2018. The Patriots are still in the prime of their dynasty. The Red Sox won the World Series. A lot of us were watching this shitty movie. It was a great time for all. Meanwhile, the Celtics were showing off their brand new team. You had some old faces in Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Al Horford, alongside new faces coming in such as Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, and Jayson Tatum. But not everything was sunshine and roses. Injuries, inexperience, and plain bad luck were plagiarizing this team, but it only seemed to fuel their fire. Even though this team was great on paper, how are they able to bring the greatest player of all time in his prime to a 7-game series while battling their own adversity? Let's go through a thorough breakdown of the 2018 Boston Celtics. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I honestly appreciate it so much. I keep this part of the intro short and sweet, so if you like this kind of content with sports history, you should subscribe. It will let you see all the videos that I make that are exactly like this. With that out of the way, let's get into opening night. October 17th, 2017. All Boston fans were so excited to see the new debut of this Celtics team. There were a lot of names we knew from before though, starting with the heart and soul of this team, Marcus Smart. Smart, a lifelong Celtic and the head of the defensive side of the basketball, was a great addition as either the starting shooting guard or off the bench as a 6-man. The 23-year-old was coming off a season of 11 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 stocks a game. Going into his 4th year, he was looking to make that jump into 6th Man of the Year caliber. 2 players off the bench with him were Terry Rozier and Aaron Baines. Rozier was always a reliable scoring point guard off the bench, going into his 3rd season with the Celtics, while Bain was a new acquisition from Detroit, signing a 1-year, $5 million deal. Now on to the starters. For a lack of a better term, this starting lineup was stacked. The second best starting lineup in the league besides these fuckboys. At starting point guard was Kyrie Irving. We all know the story at this point. Kyrie wanted to be the number 1 guy. Isaiah Thomas was coming off an injury after leading to the Celtics to a miracle playoff run in the season prior, and the Celtics stab IT4 in the back to go get Kyrie. I still don't agree with the decision as a Celtics fan, but it was the right decision to make. Irving, the 24-year-old 4-time All-Star, was ready to give his old team hell, showing LeBron that he could hold his own being the number 1 guy. The starting shooting guard was Jaylen Brown, the sophomore out of Cal. In his 2nd year, the Celtics had Brown making a huge leap, now trusting him to be a starter. It was the perfect time. With this much talent around him in the starting lineup, there was no pressure for him to be the leader in any category. The starting 3 was Gordon Hayward. The Utah legend just signed a max contract with the Celtics, ready to start winning at this point in his career. He was willing to see his points and other stats go down, but he was still going to be a star on this team. At the 4, rookie Jayson Tatum. Because of Brooklyn's failure, Boston was able to receive the number 1 pick, and thanks to Philly's failure, Boston was able to trade down to get Tatum. The young star out of Duke could have been a number 1 option on many teams, but he was drafted to a juggernaut, where honestly it wouldn't be shocking if he ended up being the 5th option. He was hesitant to embrace this role going into the season, but they'd find a way to make it work. Winning was the first priority for everyone on this team. Finally, at the center position was Big Al Horford. Coming off his 1st year as a Celtic, he took a step back from his Atlanta prime. In his 1st year on the Celtics, he averaged 14 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 stocks a night. He was the definition of a team player though, doing everything he can to help the Celtics win. With intros out of the way, here we go. Game number 1, Cavs, Celtics. Kyrie, LeBron. This should be an absolute movie for fans of all teams.
My leg! My leg!
And 5 minutes into it, Celtics season is fucked. Their star signing over the offseason was out for the year, possibly never being the same player again. So now the Celtics are already a man down, but that wouldn't stop them. The Celtics were getting killed through the first half. You can't really blame them, they just had to watch one of their best players possibly end his career. On the other side of the ball, the Cavs wanted to make an example out of the Celtics. Of course, you always want to beat your opponent, but this game had more meaning behind it. Their number 2 star requested a trade and didn't want to be a part of this team anymore. They objectively got worse from the Kyrie trade. Isaiah Thomas was still hurt, so the only thing they had to show for the trade was some role players. They looked weak, damaged compared to their previous finals teams. They needed to prove that the East still ran through the Cavs. We remember how dominant 2018 LeBron was, and he showed it in the first half. 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in 21 minutes of action. There was no one on the Celtics who could guard him either. Secondly, remember Jay Crowder? He was part of that Kyrie trade, so he had some stake in showing up for the first game. He was the number 2 scorer through the first half, having 11 points. The Celtics were struggling, led by Jaylen Brown and Kyrie Irving having a combined 21 points, but a minus 25 on the box score. The Celtics were just inefficient in the first half, hitting 2 of their 16 threes. Celtics go into the break down by 16, but they weren't done. Enter Marcus Smart. In 10 of 12 minutes he played in the third quarter, Marcus Smart went 5 of 5 from 2-point range, plus 2 free throws, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Going into the fourth quarter, it was back and forth. Both teams were treating this game like Game 7 of the finals. LeBron did not sit down in the fourth, playing a total of 41 minutes on opening night. The last 5 minutes were back and forth. Celtics up by 3, now up by 1, now up by 3, now down by 1. Fast forward to 15 seconds left. Cavs up by 3. LeBron misses a 3-pointer. Kyrie passes it to Jaylen Brown. Brown takes a 3. Rebound gets tipped out to Kyrie. Kyrie over LeBron.
Kyrie with 1 to follow.
Airball. What a movie out of opening night for the fans, but for the Celtics, it was a huge blow for them. They lost one of their stars, obviously, for the season, if not his whole career. The Cavs proved they could still outlast the Celtics even without their new number 2 star in Isaiah Thomas. And after this game, it didn't get easier for the Celtics. 2 of their next 4 games were against Giannis, and one of the others was against Joel Embiid. Apparently, though, the Celtics forgot to struggle, because here's how their next 17 games went.
The Celtics just cruising along here tonight, never in doubt. Outscored the Knicks by 13 in the first quarter and never looked back. We're going to come back and wrap it up. Jaylen Brown, happy birthday, young man.
Spate's going to get one last crack at it. This one's short, and that's the end of the basketball game. 2 close friends off the court. Fierce competitors on. If it's Brad Stevens Celtics defeat the Orlando Magic in the first of 4 this year.
Smart defending. Lowry finds DeRozan. Brown's got him. DeRozan into the paint. Spins. Good defense. Missed the shot. Follow doesn't go. Loose ball underneath. Smart's got it. Boston wins the game.
And justifiably so.
After losing to the Bucks in Game 2 of the season, the Celtics just forgot how to lose. 16 wins in a row. 20 wins out of 22 games in a 7-week stretch. Kyrie was the leading scorer of this stretch with 24 points per game, but the true leader of the Celtics in this time was Big Al Horford. Al had 14.6 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 5.5 assists while shooting 56% from the field. He led the team in rebounds, assists, and field goal percentage in those 7 weeks. Their schedule wasn't exactly the hardest, but it wasn't a cakewalk either. They beat the Spurs, where Kyrie and Al had a combined 38 points, but on the other hand, the Spurs didn't have Kawhi, so their leading scorer was Brandon Paul. Who the fuck is Brandon Paul? But they did beat the Warriors in late November. Now remember, this was the death lineup, and the Celtics were down by as many as 17 in this game. What was the key to the Celtics winning this game? The defense of Marcus Smart on Steph Curry. Steph shot the ball 14 times, only making 3 of them, ending the game with 9 total points. This looked like it was the Celtics' year to dominate everyone. They had their star, leading them to a winning record the Celtics have never seen before. Their defensive leader in 6-man, who was the heart and soul of this team. The big man who could do a little bit of everything and really be a glue guy. The 2 young and upcoming wings who had the potential to be all-stars for years. They were hungry, and even without Gordon Hayward, they were ready to compete for a title. Fast forwarding to the trade deadline, this team was one of the most consistent teams in the league. At 39-16, they were the best team in the East, and it was becoming pretty clear the road to the finals didn't go through Cleveland, it went through Boston. Through this part of the season, Kyrie was averaging 25 points and 5 assists a game. It truly seemed at only 25, Kyrie had some truth to his trade request, and he was ready to be the number one guy. The Celtics really didn't need to do anything at the trade deadline, because their best ability was availability. Through the first 55 games, Kyrie had only missed 2 games, Big Al and Jaylen Brown only missed 3, and Tatum didn't miss a single game, and Marcus Smart only missed 2 games before cutting his hand open on a picture frame in a hotel in Los Angeles. Yes, look it up. He missed 3 weeks because he was frustrated that they lost to LA. He had to get 11 stitches. Don't worry, Terry Rozier came into the starting lineup and averaged 15 points on 47% from 3. God, I miss when Terry Rozier was good. The only place this team had a little inconsistency was backup big man. Aaron Baines was serviceable with 6 points and 5 rebounds in 18 minutes a game, but Greg Monroe was brought in to help split that time. Greg was coming from a struggling Phoenix team where he averaged 11 points and 8 rebounds as the Suns' starting center. The Suns wanted more flexibility, and they saw Monroe's $17 million expiring deal not helping them, so they decided to buy him out. So remember when I said the Celtics' biggest asset was health? Yeah, that changed completely on one night. March 11th, 2018. The Celtics were already down 3 starters. Obviously Gordon Hayward, but Al Horford was at home dealing with an illness that would keep him out for 2 games. And also 3 days prior, Jaylen Brown was injured after falling on his head during this dunk. He was put on concussion protocol and was out for over 2 weeks. Halfway through the first quarter, Marcus Smart dove for a loose ball and doctor said he sprained his hand. He was taped up and sent back out there. Then at halftime, Kyrie left the game with knee soreness. In 2015, during the finals, Kyrie Irving had a surgery on his left knee. Now, doctors initially said they needed to do a small surgery to remove the tension wire in his knee, but discovered the screws in his knee were infected, causing another surgery. His timetable? Out for 5 months. The rest of the season and the playoffs. So, in the span of a few days, the Celtics went from just missing Gordon Hayward to missing Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving, and half of Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart still led the team on that day with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. Now, to add salt into the wound, the Celtics found out Marcus tore a ligament in his hand, and he's out for the rest of the regular season. So it was Terry Rozier, Jayson Tatum, Al Horford, and Jaylen Brown when he comes back. Rookie Abdel Nader was getting 14 minutes a game from this point on in the regular season. Fortunately, the Celtics were on cruise control and had a pretty easy end-of-season schedule, so they finished those last 15 games at 9-6 and still claimed the number 2 seed in the East behind the Raptors. So the East didn't run through the Celtics, but no one looked to the Raptors as a legitimate threat, so the East was essentially through the Celtics. But they had a rough first-round matchup in the playoffs. Giannis and the Bucks. Now, the Bucks looked really good on paper. Of course, led by a 23-year-old Giannis Antetokounmpo, who averaged 27 points and 10 rebounds a game. His 2 sidekicks were Chris Middleton, who averaged 20, and Eric Bledsoe, who averaged 17 and 5. With no Hayward, Irving, or Smart, this was going to be a much more even series than your typical 2-7 seed matchup. This is what most people were saying about the Celtics' chances in this series, even though they were the 2 seed.
But Giannis, the Celtics have nobody to defend him. Eric Bledsoe can get a triple-double every now and then. You've got Jabari Parker, he's back, he's healthy. He's taken over the game. So I don't see how the Celtics can win 4 times against this team. My prediction is that the Bucks are going to win in 5 or 6 games.
Game 1 was a game of runs. After the first quarter, the Celtics were up by 12 thanks to Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Al Horford. After the second quarter, the Bucks took a 3-point lead, beating the Celtics 30-15 to round out the half. Giannis and Chris Middleton combined for 21 points. The Celtics took over at the end of the third, up by 4 shockingly thanks to Marcus Morris, who had 7 points in less than 6 minutes on the court in the third, skipping to 15 seconds left in the game. Bucks down 3.
Giannis kicks it, 3-pointer up Brogdon. Yes, it goes!
With 5 seconds left, the ball goes to Terry Rozier of all people? Fuck it, let's see what happens.
Fouls. He goes by a little crossover, step back, wide open, and it's good! And Boston has the lead! Terry Rozier!
Cold-blooded Terry Rozier. With only a half second left, game winner. The Celtics needed this victory so bad to get off to a good start in the series.
Who's going to get the shot here? Gets it in. Middleton for the tie. Oh, my goodness. Chris Middleton ties it with a long-range three.
Fuck you, Chris Middleton. How? It's all right. We have to go into overtime. And who's the leader for the Celtics this game? Welcome to the emergence of Scary Terry.
Milwaukee will after he makes his free throw.
He missed it. And Rozier flying high for the rebound. We have, is it a foul? It is.
A foul.
We had one official saying jump ball.
Remember when he was good and he wasn't in a betting scandal? Anyway, Terry finished with 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists on the game. After the game, he was asked to comment on the Bucks and see if you can hear the slip up.
Giannis, he loves to push the ball. Drew Bledsoe, he loves to push the ball. You got Chris Middleton, who makes tough shots.
Drew Bledsoe doesn't play for the Bucks. He was the quarterback for the Patriots before Tom Brady. Who he was referring to was obviously Eric Bledsoe. After a convincing 14-point win for the Celtics, where Terry Rozier had another 23-point game, this time with 8 assists, Eric Bledsoe said this, commenting on Terry Rozier.
Rozier's gotten off to a strong start to the series, no turnovers in 78 minutes. How personally do you take that matchup?
Who?
Terry Rozier.
I don't even know who that is.
Bledsoe guarding Rozier with 5 fouls. He goes by a little cross. Over, step back, wide open, and it's good! And Boston has the lead!
Bullshit, you don't know who this is. Brother, he crossed you up to end the game as if you were Kemba in college. Here's the stats of both players going through the first 2 games of the series. Yeah, Eric, you're kind of his bitch right now. After a Chris Middleton Game 3 masterclass and a beautiful Giannis tip-in to win Game 4, series is tied 2-2. Game 5, midway through the third, Eric Bledsoe decided to act like a big boy and started some shit.
If those 2 defenders step out.
And now both teams try to restrain their benches.
This is where the NBA needs to start implementing NHL-style fights. This could have all been over in a few minutes, but it lingered all series, to the delight of NBA fans. Game 5 was a defensive masterclass by both teams. The Celtics only shot 42% from the field, and the Bucks 37%. The reason for this was because head coach Brad Stevens had an idea so crazy it might just work. Giannis was dominating through the first 4 games of the series. Stevens implemented the strategy of anybody can beat us but Giannis. He tried to throw doubles and help defense at Giannis, but that only ended in disaster, like at the end of regulation in Game 1. So he had to find someone who could guard Giannis. Big Al, too slow. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, not strong enough. Marcus Smart was finally back healthy in Game 5, but he was way too small. He threw someone new into the starting lineup. Semi Ojeleye. Now Semi was a rookie who was taken with the 37th pick in the draft. Why in the world would you put him up against Giannis, arguably a top 5 player in the game at this point? Look at Semi's stats from the first 4 games of the season. He averaged 1.3 points per game on 22% from the field. But the Celtics didn't need scoring. They had so many scorers that it wasn't a problem. They needed a stopper. A Giannis stopper. For the final 3 games of the series, the Celtics only scored over 100 points once, and the Bucks did not score over 100 in games 5, 6, or 7. That's because the Celtics were committed to make this game a 4-on-4 on defense and a 5-on-4 game on offense. If Chris Middleton beat the Celtics on his own, Celtics were fine with that. Anyone but Giannis. Thanks to a 22-point, 14-rebound game by Big Al, the Celtics took a 3-2 lead. Giannis only had 16 points on 10 shots, his worst game in the series by far. Game 6, the Celtics shot just 37% from the field, were down at half, and had to take Semi out to focus on offense. Giannis took full advantage of this, and he had 31 and 14. Bucks win 97-86. Game 7, Celtics had home court advantage, and the home team won every game of the series so far. Celtics took full advantage of that, and after going down 15-10, something awoke in the Celtics.
Rozier dumps it down to Tatum. Jabari Parker on him. Tatum goes right by him and scores. Boston getting a lot in the paint here in this first quarter. Already 12 points inside the lane. Tatum will pull this one on the mid-range. Into this first quarter for the Celtics. Smart gives it up. Baines, little mid-range. Got it. Count it.
They proceeded to go on a 20-2 run at the end of the quarter. They never looked back. The Celtics looked to full defense, having Marcus Smart play more minutes in this game than the other 2 games he played in the series, and the Celtics never gave the lead back. Celtics win by 16, led by no other than Scary Terry. 26 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds on 63% from the field. It was ugly, it was scrappy, it ended with the Celtics faithful chanting, "Who is Bledsoe?" But the Celtics got through round 1. On to Philly. Now, as a Celtics fan, I have 2 teams I absolutely despise. That's the Knicks, and that's the Sixers. At the time of this game, I was in college at Seton Hall University in South Orange, New Jersey. Fuck Rutgers. Now, considering New Jersey is right in between Philly and New York, almost everyone there hated the Celtics, so this series was going to be intense for everyone watching. I wasn't going anywhere with that story, I just wanted an excuse to say, fuck Rutgers. Now, the Sixers were very much like the Bucks, a 2-headed monster with a bunch of good role players to cover the weaknesses of the 2 stars. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, plus a supporting cast of JJ Redick, Robert Covington, Dario Saric, and others were a formidable foe for the Celtics, but the Celtics had an answer to this too. Semi was great against Giannis, but they decided to go big against the Sixers. Put 2 bigs in the paint and have the Sixers live and die by the role players' 3-pointers. And honestly, this series wasn't even close. The Celtics took the first 2 games pretty easily. Game 3 was close though, Sixers down 2, and Marco Bellinelli does this.
Here's Bellinelli, catch and shoot, and it's good! They rule it a 2, and we're going to overtime.
The only problem? That was a 2-pointer. The Sixers prematurely set off the confetti cannons, and they still lost the game because Jayson Tatum and Al Horford in overtime. The Celtics won this series pretty easily. The Sixers had no answer for Jayson Tatum and Terry Rozier. Jayson Tatum scored 24 a game on 53% from the field, while Terry was arguably the MVP of this series, having 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game. The Celtics proved that they could still win as the underdogs without their main stars. But the Celtics had their biggest matchup by far. The story came full circle. Can the Celtics finally beat LeBron and the Cavs? Now, this is not the Cavaliers team the Celtics saw on opening day. The whole team was almost up and gone at the trade deadline. Isaiah Thomas traded for Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance. Jay Crowder and Derrick Rose, go have fun in Utah. Dwayne Wade, it's only right we send you back home to Miami. The only player the Cavs kept from the Kyrie Irving trade that happened 9 months prior was Ante Zizic. The Celtics once again debuted a new starting lineup. Aaron Baines was out and Marcus Morris was in. Game 1, Celtics dominance. The MVP, Marcus Morris. Marcus had 21 points and 10 rebounds, outplaying LeBron, who had 15 points on 5 of 16 shooting. Part of the Celtics winning so much without their stars was Brad Stevens, who could coach circles around any other coach in the East. So not only did the Celtics have advantages within the depths of their rosters, the Celtics had the coach advantage in every series so far. Game 2 didn't exactly go that way though. There's only so much you could do to stop LeBron. 42 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists in Game 2. Yeah, LeBron can make adjustments too. So far, the leader of the Celtics was Jaylen Brown. JB was mainly guarded by J.R. Smith through the first 2 games of the series. Jaylen had 23 points in both games leading the Celtics, but the Celtics had scoring depth. 6 players had over 10 points in Game 2. The Cavs only had 7 players score all game. Celtics took a 2-0 lead. Final score, 107-94. The Celtics were not good on the road though, so games 3 and 4 did not go their way. Before this series, the Celtics were 1-4 in road games in the playoffs. Make that 1-6 after games 3 and 4. And of course, LeBron scored 44 in Game 4, absolutely dominating the Celtics. Remember, 2018 LeBron was one of the best players of all time. There is no one on the planet who could truly stop LeBron that season. So, series tied 2-2. This game was so crucial to the Celtics because of how terrible they were on the road for the playoffs. Now, the Celtics were really good at stepping up when needed. The Celtics needed a new leader for the rest of the series, and they turned to the rookie. 24 points, 7 rebounds, almost matching LeBron, who had 26 and 10. This is what the Celtics were good at, having a new player step up to be their scoring leader once someone was stopped. The Celtics had 4 guys in Terry Rozier, Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, and Jayson Tatum, who each took turns being the scoring leaders in the playoffs. But the Celtics had 11 players be their scoring leader in games all season. Those 4, Kyrie Irving, Marcus Morris, Marcus Smart, Aaron Baines, Shane Larkin, Daniel Tice, and Greg Monroe all led the Celtics at least one game in scoring. Now, the Celtics lost Game 6 because LeBron's 46, 11, and 9. So now we're down to 1 game. Game 7. The Celtics only played 7 players in Game 7. Jayson Tatum and Al Horford were the only 2 to shoot above 40% in that game. The Celtics were ahead through the first half, but the Cavs were slowly and surely chipping away. The Cavs had absolutely stout defense in the second half, led by LeBron getting this clutch block on a Terry Rozier dunk. So with very little momentum, we got shown how great Jayson Tatum could eventually be.
With 6:45 remaining, Tatum drives down and throws it down! Wow!
Brown to Smart. Smart to Tatum. Sets, fires, three-pointer. Bang!
6 minutes left. The Celtics take the lead back. But of course, through the final 6 minutes, it was all LeBron. LeBron did not sit a single minute this game. But there's a reason why we call him the king.
Rebound goes to Jeff Green. George Hill releases down the other end, drives, layup, he banks it in. A 7-point Cavs lead with 1:16 remaining. Timeout Boston.
Through this performance today.
It'll be a tough offseason, knowing how close they came. Good sportsmanship there. Final seconds tick off. It's over. Cleveland wins Game 7. LeBron James and the Cavs do it again.
Down go the Celtics. What a Cinderella run from this team facing so many injuries. So there you have it. The 2018 Celtics, a team stacked on paper, battered by injuries, and tested by the best player of all time. From Kyrie Irving leading the charge to Scary Terry becoming one of the hottest players in the game. From rookie Jayson Tatum showing flashes of stardom to Big Al doing a little bit of everything. This team proved that depth, heart, and pure grit can carry you farther than talent alone. It all came together like poetry, and that's why this Celtics squad will be remembered as one of the most scrappy, unpredictable, and fun teams to watch. Thank you everyone for watching this video. It means the world to me that you liked it. Please follow me if you want more content like this. God bless each and every one of you, and I will see you guys next time.